and say some random story. So we got to open this properly right now, don't we? Like, welcome
Rectum.
back to the flannel
Damn
panel.
deal.
Corey or Ty isn't jumping in saying some funny story about what happened or whatnot. So,
Yeah.
welcome back to the flannel panel, everyone. We got Jason and Troy here. A few of the other boys are busy off traveling and working, and Corey had a day, didn't he?
These are
Looks
creating
like
his
it.
own fish stories. Absolutely.
Yeah, with the 8 times up stuff. So Corey, congrats on the big catch. And if you don't follow him on Instagram, you should do that and check out what he posted. But saw a little catch. But how are you guys doing? It's been a couple weeks.
I know.
I miss you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Last week I had to bail. It's
It's
just
all good.
first week of the semester. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Do you guys feel this way? January usually just kind of is dull in general, like just mentally dull. But it's been Troy, is it close? We're somewhat close. Has it been like a mild winter so
It
far?
has. It's a couple times I've thought about actually going outside to sit on the
You
porch and smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
sons
So
of bitches.
Yeah. So it's been a mild winter so far, and I've noticed a lot of fog lately. Have you guys had fog, Troy?
I
yep,
have
we
all the winter.
You do.
down here.
Oh
We're
yeah,
in a valley, so we
it's snowing right now.
Yeah.
It's been pretty much. It's been one of those wet winters, which we need it, so we can get the Great Salt Lake back, so it doesn't kill us all. But that's been it. No, really, it's been so dry here that's actually the fear that like scientists are saying because of the arsenic in the bed of the Great Salt Lake. That there's actually a possibility if the lake dries up and the wind hits right, we can get like an arsenic tornado that like kills
No
everybody.
way.
Yeah,
Sounds like a cool movie.
yeah, it's great. Yeah, I
Maybe
know.
not a
it's like
cool movie, but yeah.
it's like Sharknado.
Yeah, no, exactly. So anyway, it's been very wet, but it hasn't. It was very cold in December and now very wet in January. So
Really?
we've gotten them both.
Yeah. So last Wednesday we had this big fog, like you see 10, 20 feet in front of you while driving, like one of those days. And as I'm driving into the college, I'm like, this is exactly how I feel. Everything's just foggy. Like just
Kind
kind
of
of
a fog.
rolling through, not sure what's ahead. So it's just been Christmas was tough. It wasn't bad, like good. We had a fun. My wife's a nurse, so she worked nights. It was just a long go. So I just feel like I could use the spring whenever that happens.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm sure Andrew West is like, suck it up, princess. Like
Yeah.
he's up there. It's been winter since June for him. So
Yeah.
He gets his 3 days of spring. No summer, just 3 days of spring.
yeah. Do you guys find that though? Does your mood change in seasons?
I usually don't mind the winter too bad, but it's getting to the point now where I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
the warmer weather and the things that entails. I miss my smoker and stuff like that.
Yeah, no kidding. That Blackstone. My wife recently, so speaking of you cooking, my wife made crunch wraps.
Oh,
Do it yourself crunch just on a cast iron pan,
yeah.
not on a Blackstone, but yeah. And I was like, man, Troy would be proud of you. And she's like, what? I was like, Troy, the teas, like this is his jam, and he'd be proud of you. These are good. So it was fun.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, it's now Mayor McTease. He is now a political figure.
I'm not. I'm not the mayor. I'm the.
Yeah.
Hey, you're our mayor.
I'm the backup, I guess.
Gee.
Yeah.
Do you have NDAs and all that stuff where you cannot confirm nor deny?
Yeah. I don't want the mayor seeing this. I'll get fired.
That's funny.
It is. It's small town living, but yep.
Sweet. Yeah. So, but just overall, you don't mind seasonal change?
Well,
My road rage goes up in the winter.
Does it?
Because of the weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you start looking forward to getting out in the spring, and
here's something, Jason. Like Patty and I are not like hot climate people. We always say we will never retire and move south.
Same.
So I'd imagine you're the same way. But yeah,
I'm
I'm
a
more
walrus.
likely to move to Michigan than I am to Florida.
Amen.
I don't know.
He's like, I'm not moving any farther north.
No, I don't know.
That's the nice thing about being where I'm at in the mountains, because even like
Yeah,
if it's a hot day, like if it's 90 degrees here, you can just take a 30-minute drive up the canyon and it's back up to, low 80s, 75.
Mhm.
You can kind of get away from it. But yeah, I'm with you. I hibernate on extremely summer days.
So that's that age-old question. Would you live on the beach or in the mountains?
Mountains.
Yeah, I like the mountains.
Mountains for both of you?
If
Yeah.
I had to survive severe summers to if I had to survive severe winters to avoid severe summers, I would be happy.
Yeah.
Severe summers and I don't get along.
I get that.
I never thought about it. We took a vacation a few years ago down to Grandfather Mountain in North Carolina, and I just never. It was summertime, but with the elevation, I think it was like 82 one day, or maybe the
Yeah.
record high was in the low 80s, something like that. But I would never have guessed that being in North Carolina. I thought, hot's hot, but I guess with the elevation, so that was surprising.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I like the wooded cabin idea way over some beach hut on the beach, though. I do like that idea. But
Where Nat and I have graduated in our old age to glamping more than camping.
glamping, yeah.
We we go to Jackson Hole, we stay in a hotel and then take day trips out. And we're not sleeping in tents and cots. My back couldn't survive a cot.
Yeah,
See,
I
that's what I
like
want to do.
Yeah, I like camping a lot. My wife will never do it. So
they have these things here. I'm sure they have them everywhere, but they have around. There's all sorts of places here where they just have these yurt
Yeah.
living, where they're just a big oversized cabin, but they have everything, including air conditioning. You
see,
go
I'm
in
not
and it's-
opposed to that.
Oh, I'm telling you, they're
Yeah.
just beautiful and yeah, it's fun. Or else you go get the you go sightsee and then you can kind of feel close to nature, but not really.
See, Patty's family always went camping when she was a kid. So her dream vacation, she wants to rent a camper and spend 2 or 3 weeks driving to Yellowstone, and that is like the last thing I want to do. I will gladly drive a car out there or fly out there and stay in the camper, but I don't want to pull a camper
Yeah.
every day through the mountains. And
I'll tell you what, Troy, come out here. We'll drive to Jackson. We'll stay at the White Buffalo Hotel. And they have an amazing bar. And then it's like 2 hours to Yellowstone from Jackson Hole. So
see, I could sell Patty on something like that.
I think
feel
the
like there's an Elvis song in there somewhere.
it might not be too popular of an
going
opinion,
Jackson.
but I think the Tetons are much more majestic than Yellowstone, in my opinion.
I trust you. You're the
Oh yeah,
It's the
whichever
coolest mountain range I've ever seen because it's like pretty flat, Wyoming, and then just these mountains just shoot up out of the middle of nowhere, and they look like they go 90-degree angle. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to do that sometime.
Absolutely.
We'll have to do that sometime. What so the title of the thing is "What's in Your Glass" because I completely copped out and did the thumbnail last minute. So what is in your glass tonight, fellas? And we got some people hanging out in the chat. Andrew West says, "Hey, gentlemen."
Oh, hey, Andrew.
James.
Hey,
James.
there he is.
Hey. Yeah, we'll have to get him on soon for a tasting. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So James, if you have some requests that we could all get, that'll be let's do it.
It's-
Kim
it's-
S. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Kim S is always jumping in saying hey, and then obviously the Nat. So and Michelle Fusco.
Hey,
Look at
Michelle.
that. Hey Michelle, how's it going? Thanks for watching, everyone.
I had a funny phone call. That's actually at like 6 o'clock our time. My James calls me. Did you guys have a show? I was like, yes. He says, "Will you get?" And so he was the one that was coming to visit. That was supposed to be here this weekend, but stuff happened, so we had to postpone his trip. So he called me and said, "Dad, I sent you your Christmas present since I wasn't going to bring it in person, but I want when it gets here because he actually has an Etsy shop, and I'll get some links for it. But he does an Etsy shop where he does a lot of the t-shirt designs and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And he's made me a Christmas present that he's so proud of, and he says, "Dad, I made this for you. but I want you to show it on your show when you get it because I'm very
Nice.
proud of it. So,
Nice.
Nice.
so maybe next week I'll be pimping out his Etsy shop.
That's awesome. And whenever he can make it in and do that tasting, if you want to throw in some ideas, or the chat, if the chat has some things that you want James to taste, that would
Well,
be fun.
I'm proud of him. He's out of my 3 kiddos, he's the one that has grasped whiskey. His collection started with Crown Caramel, but
Really?
I have since graduated to his favorite. He loves Four Roses.
Yeah.
As a Four Roses small batch, he bought. I feel bad. I'm sorry, James. I forgot. But anyway, for Christmas, I gave him a Brett Elliott store pick that we got at Whiskey
Sweet.
Weekend Batch 1.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
He's getting a pretty good collection.
Yeah, no kidding. I started on Jack Daniel's Honey. That was kind of like the gateway for me. At the golf trip with the boys, never drank beer and stuff, but never got into whiskey. And that was like, oh, I'm grabbing this bottle and going, and that elevated, and yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like most of it.
Did you go straight to bourbon, or you had some scotch, or just a little bit of everything at the same time, and then?
I wanted to like scotch. This whole process, I think I've told a couple times, but I really wanted to enjoy scotch and be a real man, or whatever you want to call it. Like just have that rocks glass and really enjoy a whiskey. So I bought this. I spent $80 Canadian, which is really nothing now, but whenever it was a while ago, it was $80 Canadian for the Glenmorangie original.
Oh,
and I got all excited. I poured it in a nice glass, and I smell it. And I'm like, that's okay. And I taste it, and I'm like, this bottle has to be bad. So I started researching corked bottles, because I'm like, there is no way somebody would sell this crap. It tasted disgusting to me. And it's a high malt. Well, it's a single malt.
Single malt, yeah.
But it's Highland single malt, so it's very sweet and floral and flowery and all this stuff. And I thought it was just turned. Like, I thought it was bad. So I was like, I tried to get through that. Then I had a buddy buy me a bottle for something I did, and it was a Glengoyne 12, which is another Highland. And I like suffered through that thing. It was terrible. And then I bought yellow rose bourbon or something like that. And yeah, I bought 2 bottles of bourbon, yellow rose or something like that, and then Elijah Craig, one of the old bottles, the Elijah Craig age stated, and killed the age stated squat bottle. And I was like, this is what I like. And now I'm like, why did I kill that? But that got me into bourbon. I was like, I like this stuff. And then I started going down that rabbit hole. So I wanted to like scotch, and now I don't mind it. I like Islay, I like some different scotches, but I don't like that Highland sweet malt kind of flowery stuff. But
I started with scotch because most of my whiskey journey has been souvenirs from our trips.
Mm-hmm.
And Nat and I first big trip together was we did a cruise that started in London, went around the UK, and ended up back in London. And so we went to Ireland and Scotland, and then up to Orkney, and then down to Edinburgh, over to Normandy, France, and then back to London. So the whole time, obviously, I'm drinking. And the cruise ship was cool because we obviously had the drink package, but it was Princess Cruises, from what I found out is fancy now. But they had Highland Park at every bar, but it was like 1993. They had these elite vintages from.
Oh wow!
And each bar had a different year, so I went through every single bar, and I think the oldest one I had was. So 2017. So yeah, 20-year-old. But then we fell in love with that. And we stopped in Orkney. Highland Park's always been one of my favorites.
It makes sense. It's your vibe.
Yeah.
Highland Park. Enjoy. Do you know anything about the Highland Park brand?
It's kind of Viking-y, isn't it?
Viking.
Yeah. It's the island scotches aren't quite peated. They have some peated, but they're not like the Isla, the heavy peat. But they are on the island, so you get a lot of.
I didn't mind the Highland Park smoke. It was still too malty for me, too sweet. But I do like the peated ones I've tried, like what's the Valfeather, and those ones, they had some heavy peated ones, and they're awesome. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So we fell in love with those, and then got home and found out you can't find any of it around here in Utah. It's good scotches is more rare than actually. I started collecting bourbon out of almost necessity.
Oh, really?
I started looking when we got back. I had pretty much, as we do, had everything that the liquor store could provide, which was like 20 bottles. I was like looking for other stuff because I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
With collecting. So funny enough, I actually jumped to bourbon because of Blanton's. So they've said it before. It's because of John Wick. I watched John Wick.
For sure.
Saw the bottle, fell in love with
yeah.
it. And I found a bottle on the shelf of Blanton's and snagged it. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the first Blanton's I got, I traded. What did I do? How did I get that? It came from Alberta, so across the country, and it was mailed to me. And then I traded for Blanton's Gold, 4 Roses single barrel, just base one, and like a wild turkey or something, like nothing. And I was like, you want to trade this? Sure, done. So I have that. That's from 2017 or something. But yeah. That John Wick factor definitely.
But actually,
that's pretty cool.
I snagged that bottle, and that's when I started looking for bourbon podcasts because I cracked it open and I really liked it.
Nice.
So I was already on the Whiskey Tribe, all in on the Whiskey Tribe because of
Yeah.
And I just did a search and found podcast, and that was my downfall.
Yeah,
there we are.
I met you sons of bitches. I got entirely too much bourbon to think about, but I wouldn't change a thing.
I'm not sure if it's a downfall. That's kind of negative,
I was thinking about it the other day. All the bottles I've bought and stuff I have sitting here that I haven't even opened yet. I don't know. I think I just need to drink them or open them.
I've been taking Ty's lead. I've really been. I'm not gonna open a new bottle till I kill 10 that I've already opened. Lived till last week. This is a little more. I'm not gonna get done with this tonight, but
sounds like a fun.
It's an old Maker's Cast strength that I had laying around. I'm gonna kill that this weekend.
I really got to open this bottle. Here's 10. Let's go.
Well, anyway, so what are you drinking tonight, Jason?
The old cast strength,
Makers.
The old Makers. It's actually been open for quite a while. I didn't drink that much of it, so you can tell. I mean, I like it, but it's how should I say it? I think it's my ADD. I have so many things open that it's hard to keep track of what. So if it's not right in front of my face, I'm not going to drink it. But
Makers is one of my unsung heroes in my even just the base Makers. I pour it every once in a while. I'm like, man, I love this. This is really good. Just easy. Also a hefty pour, but
yeah,
definitely like that. What are you drinking, Troy?
Well, I wasn't going to drink anything. I've got ice water here. I had a very rough weekend, and I'm starting to think maybe I have the flu, but I think it's just from a rough weekend. But anyway, so I wasn't going to drink anything. But while we're sitting here, I found this sample bottle. It's from Corey. He sent it, and then there was actually this Blue Note bottle. I think is what is in there. They're
nice.
They're Boomtown. I think it's 8, or I can't remember which number this one was. But so anyway, I've got a little bit of that now, but I'm still limping it. I think maybe, we went away for the weekend with some friends, and I was making some mixed drinks after a while just to try to slow myself down. And I think I must have got into a bad batch of ginger beer or something because something did not sit right.
Dude, I can't drink cocktails. Don't slow me down. They make it worse because they taste so good. Like I can, if you put a half a bottle of whiskey in front of me, it's going to be a long road to hell. But if you mix a pitcher of mules, it'll be gone, and I'll be upside down on my face.
Theory was, instead of just drinking it neat, I'd put 3 ounces in a Yeti tumbler, a tall one, and fill it up with 10 ounces of ginger beer, like non-alcoholic ginger beer, and that would slow me down. But I think maybe just made me feel worse or sugar, maybe. I don't know. But
the worst drinks I get, the worst drunk I've ever been is wine drunk. Wine, because it's so easy to drink. I'll drink an entire bottle of Riesling with dinner and not even think twice about it and figure out why I can't. My legs aren't working when I stand up from the dinner table.
Yeah, not much of. Excuse me. Also trying to fight something apparently, but I'm drinking Baker 7. So
I love that stuff.
Dave gave this to me from the Brolaws, so it's pretty good.
That's a very solid, and I don't think it's really elevated. It's not as popular, so it doesn't get the old price gouge. We could still get it for like $40.
It's a little hefty up here. It's 90, 97 or something. So $100 up here. But I did just see in the LCBO recently Knob Creek 12 up here, which apparently is really good, but it was $150.
Oh yeah, I do like that. I've had that's the blue label. I
think. What's that going for where you guys are at?
Oh, I don't know. Is it up to 100, Jason, or is it like 80? I can't remember.
I wouldn't know.
It's more than a single.
We don't have any of that fun stuff around here.
Yeah, Knob Creek 12 for $150 Canadian, so it is a little different pricing, but I was like, I don't know about that one.
It's supposed to be pretty. I mean,
no, it is very good. I think it's better than the 15.
I know Corey really likes that one. I think so.
And I've passed on before. Just the old. Why am I going to pay more when I can get a single barrel? But
yeah, and it's lower proof too, right?
Lower. I think that's what it was. It was lower proof and more money. Yeah. But they're very good. I think they're like 100 proof or something.
If it is ever here. Oh, there's 72 at the warehouse, maybe. Anyway, it's $70 here.
There you go.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, still, it's pricey up here.
They also have
$60 in Colorado all day. Ty says.
I put in for a lottery for the Russell's 13.
Oh wow!
There's like 50 bottles, so I'll have like a 1 in
million
chance.
Yeah, exactly.
We just had our big. Maybe I mentioned this last week. We just had our big yearly BTAC lottery in Ohio, and I'm over like the last 6 years. I've lost again.
Yeah, Andrew West. It is 150 taxes in, so I'm not sure if that's good or not for us. But
Jason was talking about makers. I've not been a big makers fan, but I need to go buy a bottle of something because I'm actually late in sending my samples for the Bar Night at Home guys. We're doing another round, and makers is a category this year.
Yeah,
I don't own any makers, so I need to find.
So there's not
a single barrel or something.
That's gonna be interesting. Yeah, Jason could help you.
I would tell you that if they weren't watching, I have one that would probably destroy.
That's the goal.
I got you.
I'm tired of the last couple of seasons. I've not won very much, so that's got to stop.
So
I won't tell you what it is. I will just say that Casey was involved.
Oh, geez.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll see if I can't get you a little.
That's actually a good category because it's challenging. Unless you get a really good single barrel, what do you do?
Yeah, I was hoping to just maybe go to the store and find like a Maker's 46 like barrel proof or something like that. But I probably won't be able to find anything like that.
I think that would probably run away with it. To be honest, I like Maker's 46 as is, and then throw the barrel proof on that.
That's one thing that we've been lucky enough to get a hold of. I think I have most of the wood finishing series. I still have an RC6, which would freaking my favorite.
Yeah.
But matter of fact, I think the 2, I just noticed that the new wood finishing series is available around here.
Oh, really?
But
we don't see any of that. We have we might get 46 every once in a while. So
it's weird. We get a lot of makers and we get a lot of Heaven Hill. Pretty much anything Heaven Hill, we're minus the really high allocated stuff.
Yeah.
We usually, Elijah Craig barrel proof, larceny, all those always land on our shelves. But Four Roses. We don't even get Four Roses single barrel very often.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hit or miss up here too. So, Jason, you had a question earlier before we jumped on.
I did. Since we were just talking about our obsessions and this stuff, and I was looking around my room and seeing everything that I've been obsessed with over the last 50 years. I have that ADD in me, so I have to know everything about it. And then when I get to the pinnacle, I just jump off and find another smoke signal to go chase. But anyway, so I was wondering, what is the earliest memory of something that you obsessed about? Like as a child or whatever. And since I asked the question, I'll go first. When I was
PG?
young, like I was five or
Okay.
six.
Okay.
I was absolutely obsessed with dinosaurs.
Okay.
I remember I knew every single one. I knew how to pronounce it. I knew my favorite. I had my room was dinosaurs. I have pictures of my mom give me all these little no glue models of dinosaurs, and I couldn't even wait to get them out of the box. I played with the boxes like they were dinosaurs. I had a book. I still have this book that I wore down to the spindles of. I memorized it. I've read that book like 300 times. So now, not so much.
Dinosaurs. So let's take the question a little further. So that's the first thing. But what are some other significant things that you kind of obsessed or created significant hobbies over the years?
Through the ages, I mean, 10, 12. We're the Gen Z children, so take that back. All my friends were collecting Star Wars figures.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend was an only child, and he had everything, including the Millennial Falcon. And
oh wow,
I was different. I collected He-Man. I had every He-Man figure when I was like 12. I loved He-Man. I still do, but and then, gosh, everything. When I was in the military, I was obsessed with collecting and trading unit patches. I have like a box of like 300 of all my friends, and I have some really cool ones. Like I exchanged some with some. We did air defense, and we were air support for the French Foreign Legion. We got a bunch of really cool French Foreign Legion stuff, and even now, like you name it, watches. I was on a huge watch kick. I still am.
Yeah, you like watches a lot, don't you?
And of course, Dixon. I think I'm up to got 2 more this week, son of a bitch.
Oh yeah,
what'd you buy?
About the Dixon.
I had to get the Friday, not the Friday.
The Jason. Was it Jason?
I do have the Jason, but it was that one that I couldn't believe they did the collab with
on the 13th.
No, it was that there was a dumb show in the 90s called Don't Get Caught Drinking Gin and Juice in the Hood or something like that.
No idea.
Anyway, I got it because it's really cool because it was red and black with this like neon orange yellow stripe through the middle.
Oh, cool.
Then of course I bought my son. He's a huge Dolphins fan, so they did that 72 this week that is all Miami Dolphins colors, and they celebrate the undefeated season.
Nice.
It's
anyway. I'm sure Corey got the Elvis.
Yeah.
Troy,
I tried. That was sold out in 2 hours. Anyway.
What'd you get, Troy?
No, I didn't get a new one.
Oh, you didn't buy any? Yeah.
No. This is probably my most recent one. I got this somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
you do look sexy in that.
He does.
Thanks. This is one of my favorites. It's cool, but it's not too flashy. I'm not a very flashy guy.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But I'm not a big collector. I guess these Dixons count.
Yeah, Nat's saying she collected stickers in grade school. Oh. So I did marbles in grade school. That just reminded me of that.
The biggest thing I ever collected was, I don't know how old I was, but I'd say from the late 70s until like the late 80s or like 1990, I was really into like Topps football cards. So
okay.
I've still got them here at the house. They're in the storage room, but yeah, I don't know. used to think they're going to be worth something. I thought by the time I was 50, I'd be set, but I've never even looked at them in 20 years. So.
Yeah, I did the Upper Deck baseball cards, like in
Cool.
the 90s, early 90s, 92, 93, whatnot.
You know, some of my nephews were collecting cards, and they're getting hard to find. I don't even think they're doing a lot of them anymore. Or, you know, certain brands especially. I don't even think Topps does a card anymore. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's out there.
It's weird, man. That market's crazy. And it's all like Pokemon now.
Yeah.
The card market is Pokemon and stuff. So.
Oh, that's a funny story. I have a nephew who's in 8th grade, so whatever that old that is, 13. He is into the Pokemon. Jason, you probably know better than me. Where like they're running around town chasing these monsters. Like
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So they were over here watching a football game the other day. My brother and he was over, and every so often he just take off on his bike because there was something across town he had to go get real quick.
That's hilarious.
Like how old are you? Because everybody's doing it. You know.
That's
and
funny.
Then my sister's son, who's actually like 18, came down and picked the 14-year-old up in a car. Like they had to go across that. You know, they were out running around town doing it. I'm like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's something. I don't know. It's crazy.
My favorite Pokemon stories. I love to rub it in. Jared was such a huge collector of my oldest boy. And we were going out of town or going somewhere for the weekend, and I had already locked the doors. And I said, "Put your Pokemon cards away." So he put them in his bucket in the backyard and put it under the picnic table. Well, it rained and destroyed all of his Pokemon cards.
Oh boy.
But the best part is he had, so there is this one, it's a Charizard. The only reason I know this is because I saw a thing on Post Malone. There's this one rare card, first edition Charizard, that has sold for as high as $500,000. And he had one that he got wet.
No, wow.
No, sir.
So every time I see it, it's sold. As a matter of fact, I think Post bought it for, I think it was $500K. Might even be more now. And so every time I notice one go for sale, I send him a text to let him know that he had one of those.
That's crazy.
I wonder if Post Malone would be interested in a Roger Staubach.
Oh, dude, he is the coolest dude on the planet. There's card shops here. He'll go down into Salt Lake and he drops like $60,000 and just buys everybody, all the kids in the store cards, and he'll just drop. He does that all the time for people.
Interesting guy too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, James says he collects shot glasses.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. I bought my wife one for Christmas that she kind of scorned at, but it said my nurses need shots too. But anyways, yeah.
What else? So when you gave it to her?
What's that?
Was it full when you gave it to her?
No. That would have been better. Yeah, that would have been better. So what are some, Troy, do you have the thing besides the cards that you collected, or you got into hobbies, or
not so much collecting. I've gone through phases where I was really into golfing for a long time, 2 or 3 times a week and stuff, which I don't do much anymore, but so I'll go through phases like that but not so much collecting. Patty's more of a collector than I am. She's done all kinds of things. Like when we started dating, I was buying her those like precious moments, which Ian probably doesn't know what those are, but Jason,
I know what those are. I know what those are. I grew up in the church. Those are all over the place still.
Okay. Actually, we had to have a nativity set that we had out at Christmas when the family was over, and I walked by and something fell and broke like half of them. So yeah, I just broke a bunch of them. So. But I'm not the whole big collector really.
Yeah.
It's funny. Nat loves antiques. Matter of fact, one of our first dates was at this big antique mall, and she loves antique glass and really cool stuff for her. But I'm a guy. Well, I used to kind of just drag my feet and kind of play, but then I realized I had a strategy when we would go to these antique fairs. This was a few years ago, before cards were everywhere, and everything was cash only. So she'd go to the ATM and I'll be able to she'd get like $300 out or $400 out or whatever it is. So I realized that if I go use and buy shit with half of it, then we get to go home sooner.
Oh,
So then I started getting into, and I bought, guy stuff. I bought a bunch of beer steins, and I have some cool wood carvings and that kind of stuff. So, but that actually it backfired because now I love going because there's so much cool stuff. And I'm one of those type that like sees something that sees the potential of what I could make out of it. So I find all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah. I go in phases. So like I have a buddy that I saw recently. He's in Thailand right now. And he's like, "What are you into now?" And he's like, "Are you still into whiskey?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, that's stuck for a while because it's usually like a 2-year gap of me being right into something, and then I switch to something else." So it was like guitars for the longest time, and I'd have a new guitar every like 6 weeks, and pedals and all this kind of stuff. And then it went into like fish tanks for a while. Then it went to like golf. So it wasn't just golfing all the time, it was buying equipment. I'd go through like golf clubs left, right, and center, and archery for a long time, and then I got into building archery equipment, and just like I just rotate my hobbies to change all the time. So yeah, I get that, like being into something and then like obsessing over it. And lately it's been like how to build a knife and like metallurgy and all that stuff, because I got into it with my dad. I mentioned that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's just like I always have something, but it just kind of pushes the other one out and never stays long enough. So
Now that you mentioned it, this is the longest that I've really been, like
on to something.
actively hunting. And I think a lot of it, I mean, without getting too much, it's this time this collection came with a community to
that came to mind the other day. It was the same thing. It's like, because I was like, oh, it was at Knob Creek 12 that I saw. I was like, do I buy that? And I'm like, no. And I ended up buying a Wild Turkey 101. I'm like, Troy would be proud of me right now. Just like the community with it. So I'm still into it because of the people I've met. Like, it's not, I don't care about the whiskey as much as I did. I love good whiskey and all that stuff, but I care about the friendships and
I'm with you. I don't hunt the one bottles that I'm really proud to get. Honestly, when I actively hunt for a bottle or go out and get a bottle, it's because I think of Flannel Fest, or I think of Whiskey Weekend, or hanging out with y'all and being able to crack it. That's honestly, like I said, if I lucked out and got in our lottery and won something, you guys are the first ones that I'm going to open it for.
I love that.
So
I do the same with the picks, like the Maverick and that kind of stuff. Like those are the special bottles to me. Like I have a bed pour that I'm gonna open soon, and that was what
Oh, it's years ago.
Yeah, but I'm afraid to open it because I'm like, that's special to me. I killed the Ain't Half Bad, and I was like, that bottle's still sitting around, and I'm like, it's just a bottle of whiskey, but it's special to me. So
that reminded me, speaking of that, it's kind of funny. Speaking of Maverick, I sent y'all a pic. I don't know if I did. I should. I'll post it on Instagram. Anyway, it was one of my favorite whiskey moments. I have a really good friend of mine. He retired from the sheriff's department. He's living retired life. He's actually a blacksmith. He's
cool.
He used to build wrought iron fences. He's a, side note, he's so much fun to watch Forge and Fire with, because it's like watching football with Tony Romo. It's just anyway. So he came up to visit, and we just had a dinner. It was after Christmas, because I honestly thought he was down south because he hadn't built, but he's still in the process of building his house. Long story, he texted me to come visit. We load up. We had a big old surf and turf and talked. But he's a big rye guy. He loves whiskey, and he's a big fan of rye. And so on the fly, I'm like, I got you a Christmas present. And then I was like looking through my cabinet. Well, Maverick showed up, and it couldn't have been more perfect. I have given one of my bottles of Maverick as a gift. Well, come to find out, he's a Navy veteran that was on the USS Constellation.
No way.
Oh, wow.
And he actually, so he knows everything about F-14, the whole nine. And awesome. So we sat and had amazing Navy stories. And so, it was so fitting. And he as soon as he saw the label, just the
Top Gun
sticker, the Top Gun, he just smiled. So
that's cool.
It made his day being an old Navy guy. So
that makes me happy. Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, those pours are the best. Like getting a bottle like that or that your friend picked. I have Ty's Peach Street Distillery cast strength,
Mm.
and it's tough to drink. And if Ty was watching, if Ty's watching, but I love pouring that bottle. Usually it's the third pour of the night or something like that. But like it's Ty's, so like I pour it and I'm like I enjoy it because it's my buddy's pick, and it makes it special. So
And then talking about obsessing about stuff, like it's not collecting, but when I first started, got into the whiskey and listening to the podcasts and stuff, the guys did influence us a lot. Like one of the main reasons I want to go to Whiskey Weekend is I just had to see the Beaumont Inn. You heard all the stories about that place. And I started doing research online and seeing pictures and stuff, and that was half the draw, was that because it was held there. So, and that was like one of the greatest weekends of my life.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but yeah, so that was one of my big things. I just used to, I couldn't hardly wait 7 days for another episode to come out. Just to,
My
more,
turn.
That was like the only podcast I was listening to, because podcasts I never listened to one before, so it was all a new thing to me. But
yeah, no, totally. And also, the audio version of the podcast has been fantastic lately.
I love this format. It's fun to listen to the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Amen.
Special bottles definitely mean more. It's good.
The one bottle on our shelves that's actually I'm going to lament when it's gone is another gift from Ty, because he knew that we loved the Parker's Heritage Curacao finished.
Yeah.
And it just randomly showed up on my shelf. He didn't say anything, or on the front porch.
Magic.
He just said, I found one, so here you go. And
wow,
it was cool because it was the first bottle that I ever nailed when we were doing bar night at home. I actually called the bottle.
Yep. Hey, speaking of time,
and then it's so original, just so unique and great, and I love it. And the fact that it just no reason, it just showed up on our porch, and so we drink it sparingly because we're getting down to the bottom and we don't want to have to kill it. That's the one bottle I don't want to kill.
Yeah.
That's hard sometimes because I'll hold on to bottles like that, like ain't half bad stuff, but after so many years of them being down to an inch in the bottom, I think you kind of ruin them. So
yeah, totally. You got to finish it intentionally, I feel like.
Yes.
Like set up a time, or you're chatting with the guys, or Ty's online, or it's a flannel panel with Ty on, and it's like, hey, here it is, and something like that. So yeah, it's special. What was that? One of the makers.
Like a bull moose.
It took a.
He's like, I really want to open a new bottle. I got to kill 10.
Yeah, I've got some. There's no way. Jeez. Maybe.
Oh, podcast is in the house.
Hey.
Look at that.
Oh, so I try to write down a couple of notes, just anything I could think of to talk about tonight, and I really didn't have any material. But I'm 52 years old now, and tomorrow we're getting a new mattress delivered. So that is a red letter day here. We've been crawling out of bed for 2 years. That thing is wore out. So
I literally, honestly, I got a text from Nat today saying we need a new mattress. So we're doing the same.
Yeah.
How do you break it in when you're 52?
Oh, I could throw so many shots right now.
I was going to tell you before you say, you guys, I just moved to the guest room because that mattress is like the best sleep I've had in a year.
That's true. It's both the guest rooms have better mattresses than the one I'm sleeping on. I went in there and I told the guy when I bought both those mattresses, I said, "Here's what I want."
This is where we need to go, and sponsored by Helix.
And sponsored by Helix.
Yeah.
But
I told the guy, I said, "I want mattresses that'll be comfortable enough to where my guests won't complain, but I want it to be too comfortable to where they want to stay a long time."
Well, I'll say, and this is a boring subject right now, so all I will say is this: it's surprising how much mattresses cost, and it's very hard to spend that money on a mattress.
I agree.
You know what I mean? There's so many better things I'd rather spend that money on, but
like whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I could have got for that?
T's be starting fights with the wife just so he can be regulated to the guest bed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Intentional.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny
So-
because we've been. Go ahead.
Oh no, nothing. I was just gonna say tonight is the official last night on the bad mattress.
Mhm.
We've been throwing money at. So we had the 2 big trips this year, and we've been finalizing, and so it's like we're pretty much spending our mattress money in
You got
vacation.
some stellar trips though.
Oh, we're excited.
Yeah.
Every day that the Scotland trip gets longer and longer,
Oh, really?
I'm pushed to the limit of my time off. Yeah, we're pretty much because the event itself is like May 3rd to the 8th or 3rd to the 11th.
Okay.
And Nat's got it scheduled to where we're flying out on like the 28th of March or 28th of April, excuse
Oh,
me.
wow.
Like I said, that was a long vacation.
Yeah.
And so I'm not complaining, but
You'll have a blast.
oh yeah. But it's just
That'll be
funny
so
because we
good.
were talking about that and like I guess maybe we should spend this on a mattress, but nah, we just it'll come
Oh,
around eventually.
You two in a distillery in Scotland. That'll be good. That'll be good.
Oh yeah,
it'll
we're
be
gonna.
fun. It'll be beautiful too.
Oh yeah.
I'm going mostly because I'm excited to see the look on Chad and Sarah's face when they start digging into these peaty scotches, and have to pretend that they like them. That's the best part because
Yeah.
they're guests.
Oh yeah, because the distiller will be there or whoever. Yeah.
Where do you know the distilleries you're going to?
In Isla, we're going to Lafroig,
Okay, so very
uh,
smoky.
Bruichladdich.
That's my favorite by far.
And there's another one that I don't remember. But then the next day, we actually going to Oban and staying in the Oban Hotel.
Okay.
So I know the big 3, the Oban, Bruichladdich, and Lafroig are the three big
Yeah,
ones. And I know we have
Bruichladdich-
another one more.
My favorite Scotch by far, or
Me too.
brand by far.
I agree.
Maybe my favorite brand with bourbon included. Like it's just such a cool brand in my opinion.
Yeah.
My favorite's either Doers or Johnny Walker. I haven't decided.
Oh, we are doing the Johnny Walker experience in Scotland. It'll be fun.
I don't know anything about it either.
Tease is gonna break some of you. Don't say bourbon soon. That's right.
Yeah.
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 Well, the
We're
fun
talking
that
about
is funny
Scotch
thing.
twice on this trip, or on this show.
Yeah.
So we are doing another trip back. They're doing a day trip through the Highlands, and I think we're stopping by the Loch Fyne where I went to that little liquor store, and that's the guy that said next time you come back, bring bourbon and we'll get pissed.
Oh.
And I'm going to go back to that shop and I'm going to bring bourbon.
Well, you got to take all the bourbon guys
Oh yeah,
and get them all.
if they're there,
pissed.
we're going in. It's the coolest.
That'd be
I'll
fun.
I'll
That'd be
post
fun.
some pics, but
Yeah.
he was the coolest. And that's the thing about Scotland. Once they know, it doesn't matter bourbon or not. Once they know you're whiskey people, your family, and it is absolutely great. They just roll out the stops for you.
Yeah, you're gonna have such a fun time, man. That's awesome.
But anyway,
Totally worth a bad mattress.
yes,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. We'll have play. Well, that's it. After the trip in May, we're not going anywhere for quite a while, so we'll save up for a mattress in June.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well,
We've
fellas,
decided.
I know it's always Troy's like challenging time, but what's your tip for the week?
Oh, tips are
Just
hard.
the tips.
Yep.
Tips are
I don't
hard.
want to monopolize, but I actually have one.
Do you?
Nice. You're doing so good, Jason.
It was night shift. Okay, so this is going to come under the category of it's new to me. It came
Okay.
out in 22. I don't know if it's an old hat. So I was looking for something to watch on our night shifts. I just got off my graveyards. And I tripped into this on Amazon. There's this season called Rogue Heroes.
Rogue Heroes?
And it is the dramatization of the historical it's the story of how the SAS became the SAS.
Okay. All
and
right.
it is awesome. It is, I mean, I wrote some stuff down so I didn't forget how awesome it was. So it's like it has that nostalgic feel like the old Dirty Dozen movies.
Mhm.
The cast is awesome. They're middle range actors. You'd know them all. Like one of the dudes was on Game of Thrones, but they're younger guys. But it's great. They meld that kind of tone. They have old music, like the times, British music, but then half the soundtrack is AC/DC. The battle scenes are just. They even use the Triple H walk-on theme music for one of the battle scenes, and it was just cool. The music was great. The story is very regular, and one of the coolest things I loved about it is during the montages, the training montages, the battle montages, they actually quickly inserted actual footage back in the 40s. So I won't spoil anything, but I mean, it's basically like the Dirty Dozen and meets, I don't know, but it is very worth it. It was historically, it's very interesting to learn some of the details of that. And Nat's sick of hearing about it. I've been talking about it for 3 days. She's just changing the
she
subject.
should have watched it by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. It's called Rogue Heroes.
Rogue Heroes on Prime. Is that it?
I think so.
All right.
And I think you have to get, it's like one of those stupid subscriptions.
Oh, I hate that.
But it's
Prime
the week
pisses me off with this stuff.
This one is, but it's great because it was like you get a free week.
Okay.
I accepted the free week. I watched it and I canceled it before.
Gotcha. All right.
So what do you mean it's not on your normal Prime subscription? You gotta do
you'll see it on there, but you have to like subscribe to
Paramount Plus or
it's MGM. It's MGM, the MGM channel or something. Yeah. Well, like I said, it was quick. They give you a week trial. I watched it. It took me. There's only 6 episodes, so 6 hours of content. But I binged through it in 2 days. I watched all of them back to back, and I'll probably watch it again before my week is up.
Cool.
Great show.
Rogue Heroes. I like it.
Nice.
Troy, what do you got?
Okay, I've got a couple little ones.
Does it have something to do with a mattress?
Nope.
No. Okay.
I just wanted to throw a quick plug in first of Bar Night at Home's coming back. Where samples are in the mail, I think, except for mine. I'm last right now, but so that'll be coming back around. But for Christmas, I got I probably mentioned this. I don't remember, but I got a Yeti cooler for Christmas.
Oh wow!
Like a
legit one.
Yeah, like an 18, hold like a travel one, like you put it in a boat or something.
Okay.
But so
somebody
this last
loves
weekend,
you.
yeah, it was very nice. But this last weekend was my first chance to use it, and I've never used one before. So the suckers are very nice.
Sure, it's bad ginger beer, Troy. Yeah, I got to use my Yeti cooler for the first time. The ginger beer got me sick for sure. It's not a hangover at all.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a hangover. And so I guess I should have sent a picture, but I think I put a picture in the chat way back. It also gave me a place to put all the stickers I've collected from you guys over the last year or so. So the whole one side is just plastered in everybody's stickers. So that was cool. And so while we were on our trip, I was spinning, like if I could find a sticker and kind of make it, one of the sides just like different trips we're on,
That's cool.
And that made for a fun story too, because we ended up in a bar downtown and the barmaid was drunk or high or something, but got a sticker from her, but it was a wild ride getting it. So
wild ride.
Yeah.
It
was like 2:00 in the afternoon on I think it was a Sunday. And she was drunk. Every time she make a drink, like the girls were with us, they'd all got different martinis, and she make the martini. She'd pour their glass, and then whatever was left in her shaker, she'd pour her in a shot glass, and she'd drink it with them. And then she'd make the other one, and she'd drink it with them.
Man, those ladies at Amish Town have really gone on off the reservation.
Yeah, no kidding.
Huh. Fun. All right. I have two. One I just found recently, and as I was putting my girls to bed and trying to get down here on time for this, I was watching an Honest trailer on YouTube. Do you know what they are? Honest trailers
No,
on YouTube.
I
It's
do not.
it's worth a Google search or a YouTube search, and just pick any movie you love. Star Wars. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's the funniest thing ever. But I was watching the Demolition Man one because it just popped up on the feed. So honest trailers, and it's from it just came out yesterday, but they do a trailer on Demolition Man from Sylvester Stallone and Sandra
Oh,
Bullock's
that ought to
movie,
be.
and it's hilarious. So if you go back, they just rip apart the movie and what like sayings and everything, and it's really really funny. So honest trailers on YouTube. A buddy told me about it for Star Wars, and then now they keep popping up on my feed every once in a while, and I watch them and I laugh my head off. So
Sweet.
that's the funny thing. The other thing that I've been following on social media, specifically Instagram, has been the 777. It's called, and it's like Black Rifle Coffee Company, a bunch of SEAL teams. There's a Canadian dude that was a Special Forces JTF2 guy. That there's 7 of them that went on this trip to Antarctica, Chile, Miami, Barcelona, Cairo over the pyramids, Dubai, and then Australia.
Oh,
So they did
wow.
7 jumps in less than 7 days. Only one was a private flight. They were able to do everything else commercial, and they're trying to raise money for Gold Star families. So families that had from what I understand, you guys may even know more than this, but people that were impacted by soldiers or military personnel that were impacted with whatever. So these guys are trying to raise $7 million by doing these jumps and breaking a world record and all that stuff. But just the footage, I'm afraid of heights, and skydiving scares the crap out of me. Like I would never. I don't mind flying in a plane. I'm fine with that. But the thought of jumping out of one, uh, the past few weeks since I've been watching these guys do this, I'm like, it's interesting, but I'm terrified of heights. But the way they have interacted and became a team and all this stuff and whatnot. So Andy Stump's one of them. I follow his podcast called Cleared Hot. Um, Logan Stark from Black Rifle Coffee, and there's another dude, Jericho Deadman or something, who's just a fun follow on Instagram. And they're just like they're old special forces guys, not old, but they're retired special forces guys in their new careers, just talking about life and what's going on. And it's really impacted me because I'm not that. Like I'm mechanic, teacher now. Like I have no part of that life, but just the way they talk about team leadership, the way they grew up and all that stuff has really impacted me, and I really like following them. So what they've done has been really impressive. They broke a world record. Check it out. I think it'd be neat for everybody to watch. There's one picture of 4 of the guys in a free fall holding holding hands or whatever they do, like Point Break style stuff, back in the day. And in the middle of them is a pyramid, which is the coolest thing ever. So Andy Stump would probably be the guy to follow the most, who's an ex DevGru SEAL, like whatever that means. But so yeah, 777. I didn't donate or anything like that, but I've been following, and it's just been a really cool thing to see them trying to raise money in a difficult time with society and economics the way they are. So check that out.
Absolutely.
At least
Absolutely.
like and subscribe and like post their videos up if you see that. But really cool thing they're doing. So 777 folds of honor, and it's all about military families and trying to support the people. And what I really really liked, and this kind of goes in the last couple of weeks or shows, Andy Stump, who is a personality, I guess you could say, in that field. The guy that he was jumping for uh, ended his life with suicide because he was an ex SEAL, and just that's where trauma and whatnot. So the way he spoke about that was really impactful on people, and how he went about that. So being real and where we're at. So check that out. And always check on your friends and do all that stuff, and um, look after people. So, but the footage is insane because they're flying around and doing all these jumps in the air and stuff, and Yeah, it's like real Point Break stuff. So check that out if you get a second. And those would be my two just the tips.
Boom.
Those are good ones.
Yeah. Well, fellas, next week is another week. We're at 59. We're at 1 hour on the dot. And I think on
Boom.
that note, until next week,
Keep it buttoned up.
stay buttoned up.
Buttoned up, baby.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks.